Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something I've learned in my journey. Life does not reward people who stay the same. Life rewards those who refuse to settle, those who wake up every day with the mindset that they can do just a little better than they did yesterday. You cannot afford to stop improving yourself. The moment you stop growing is the moment you start dying inside. Ladies and gentlemen, let me be real with you right now. You can dream all you want. You can write down every goal on your vision board. You can talk about what you want out of life until your voice runs dry. But if you don't have discipline, none of that is going to happen. Discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. It's the difference between wishing and winning. Too many people are talented. Too many people have potential. But potential without discipline is wasted energy. It's like having a car with a full tank of gas, but never turning on the ignition. That car ain't going anywhere until somebody starts it. And discipline is what turns that key. I learned early in my life that talent will only take you so far. You can be gifted. You can be naturally good at something. But if you don't wake up every day and put in the work, somebody with less talent but more discipline is going to pass you up. That's why you see people who might not be the smartest, not the most skilled, not the most connected, but they are the most consistent, and they end up at the top. Discipline is about showing up when you don't feel like it. It's about doing what you said you were going to do long after the feeling you had when you made that decision has left you. Now, let me tell you, discipline is not comfortable. It's not supposed to be. Discipline requires you to say no when everybody else is saying yes. Discipline requires you to go to bed early when others are partying, to wake up before the sun when others are sleeping. Discipline requires sacrifice, and most people don't like that word. But let me tell you, the sacrifice you make today becomes the reward you enjoy tomorrow. You want to live a life most people don't have, then you have to be willing to do things most people won't do. That's what discipline is all about. See, discipline is not just about big goals either. It's in the small daily habits, the way you treat your time, the way you handle your money, the way you care for your health, the way you invest in your relationships. Every one of those things requires discipline. If you can manage the little things, you will never be trusted with the big things. Some people are waiting for a big break, waiting for an opportunity, waiting for life to open the door. But discipline is the key that unlocks that door. You've got to prove to yourself and to God that you can be trusted with responsibility. Let's be honest, there will be days when you don't feel motivated. Motivation comes and goes. Some mornings you'll wake up on fire, ready to conquer the world. Other days, you won't even want to get out of bed. That's where discipline separates you from the crowd. Discipline is stronger than motivation. Motivation is a decision. If you rely only on motivation, you'll quit the first time life gets tough. But if you build discipline, you'll keep going no matter how you feel. That's how you reach your dreams. I want you to think about it this way. Discipline is love for yourself. It's saying, I respect my future enough to do what I need to do today. It's saying, I care about my purpose more than I care about my comfort. It's saying, I'm not going to let laziness, fear, or distraction steal the life I know I'm capable of living. When you live with discipline, you walk with power. You walk with authority. You walk with a confidence that can't be shaken because you know you're putting in the work every single day. So remember, talent might get you started, but discipline is what keeps you in the game. It is the secret ingredient behind every success story. If you want to see your life change, if you want to see doors open, if you want to stand in the place you've been dreaming about, then you've got to make discipline your best friend. That's the truth. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something powerful right now. The way you think shapes everything about your life. Your mindset determines your future. If you're walking around with negative thoughts, doubt, fear, and excuses running through your head all the time, then don't be surprised when your life looks the same year after year. But if you train your mind to see possibilities instead of problems, if you learn how to think big instead of settling for small, your whole life can change. It's not your circumstances that hold you back. It's your mindset about your circumstance. I've met people who had everything going against them. No money, no connections, no education, no resources, but they believed they could win. And because of that belief, they made it happen. And I've met people who had every advantage in the world, money, opportunities, a support system, but their mindset was filled with fear, laziness, and excuses, and they ended up going nowhere. That's why I say mindset is more important than anything else, because it decides whether you take the shot or walk away, whether you chase your dream or settle for less. You've got to understand that your mind is like soil. Whatever you plant in it will grow. If you plant seeds of doubt, negativity, and fear, then weeds will take over your life. But if you plant seeds of faith, courage, and vision, then success will bloom. Every morning when you wake up, you've got to decide what kind of seeds you're going to plant in your head. Are you telling yourself it's too late, you're not good enough, the odds are against you? Or are you telling yourself that you're capable, you're worthy, you're destined for more? Because whichever one you choose to believe, that's exactly the direction your life will go. Mindset isn't about ignoring reality. It's not about pretending your problems don't exist. It's about choosing to see yourself as bigger than those problems. It's about knowing that the same God who brought you through your last storm is strong enough to carry you through this one. It's about refusing to let the weight of the world crush the hope in your heart. The people who succeed are not the ones who never face challenges. They're the ones who face challenges with a winning mindset. I know from my own life that when your mindset changes, everything changes. There was a time when I was broke, sleeping in my car, not sure where my next meal was coming from, but I never let that situation own my mind. I told myself that where I was at that moment was not where I was going to stay. I started to think differently, and when I thought differently, I acted differently. And when I acted differently, my results changed. That's the power of mindset. You've got to see yourself at the finish line, even when you're still at the starting block. And here's the truth. The world will always throw negativity at you. People will doubt you, criticize you, laugh at you, and tell you what you can't do. If you let that negativity get inside your head, it'll poison your dreams. But if your mindset is strong, you won't be moved by outside voices. You'll keep pushing, keep grinding, keep believing, even when nobody else does. That's what separates winners from quitters. So, ladies and gentlemen, protect your mind. Feed it with positivity, faith, and belief. Surround yourself with people who challenge you to think bigger, not people who drag you down. Because if you can control your mindset, you can control your destiny. And I promise you this, the moment you shift the way you think, you shift the way you live. That's why I'm telling you, your mindset determines your future. And if you want a better future, you got to start with a better mindset today. Ladies and gentlemen, I need you to hear me on this. Failure is not the end of your story. It's just a chapter in your book. Too many people give up when they fall short. Too many people throw in the towel the first time things don't go their way. But what they don't realize is that failure is not a sign that you finished. It's proof that you're in the game. If you're failing, that means you're trying. And every failure is preparing you for the success that's on the other side. The problem is most folks look at failure like it's a permanent mark. They think, I messed up, I must not be good enough. I failed, so maybe I wasn't meant to do this. That's the wrong way to think. Failure is not a verdict, it's feedback. It's teaching you what doesn't work so you can figure out what does. Some of the most successful people in the world failed more times than they succeeded. But the difference is they didn't quit. They learned from every failure, adjusted, and came back stronger. When you fail, you gain wisdom that success alone can't give you. Failure teaches you resilience. It teaches you patience. It teaches you humility. It puts you through the fire so that when your breakthrough comes, you're ready to handle it. If you got everything you wanted the first time you tried, you wouldn't be able to appreciate it and you wouldn't be prepared to hold on to it. Sometimes God allows failure not to punish you, but to prepare you. He knows you need that strength, that toughness, that determination that only comes from falling down and getting back up. Let me share something from my own life. Before I ever became who I am today, I failed more times than I can count. I bombed shows. I went broke. I slept in my car. I lost opportunities. There were moments I thought maybe I should give up, but every single failure taught me something. It taught me what I needed to work on. It toughened my skin. It made me hungrier. Looking back now, I realized those failures weren't setbacks. They were positioning me for the doors that eventually opened. If I had quit after my first or second failure, you wouldn't even know my name today. See, the enemy wants you to believe that failure means stop, but really failure means grow. Failure means you are one step closer to figuring it out. Think about a baby learning to walk. That baby's going to fall over and over again before taking their first steps. But do they ever stop trying? No, because falling is part of the process. And when they finally walk, those falls don't matter anymore. That's how life works. You got to stop being afraid of falling because it's the only way to learn how to walk into your destiny. I want you to change the way you see failure. Don't see it as rejection, see it as direction. Don't see it as defeat, see it as development. Don't see it as the end, see it as the beginning of something greater. Every time you fail, you're gaining strength, you're gaining knowledge, and you're building the character you need to sustain your success when it finally comes. Failure is the training ground for greatness. So ladies and gentlemen, stop running from failure and start learning from it. Embrace it as part of the journey because every failure is moving you closer to the breakthrough you've been praying for. And when you finally win, and you will, you'll look back and realize that failure wasn't your enemy. It was your teacher. It was your coach. It was the very thing that shaped you into the person capable of living your dream. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you the truth about success. It's not just about talent, it's about consistency. I've seen people with incredible talent who never went anywhere in life because they didn't show up every day. And I've seen people with average talent rise to the top because they were consistent. Consistency beats talent when talent doesn't show up. You can be the most gifted person in the room, but if you only give effort once in a while, you'll lose to the one who shows up day after day, even when they don't feel like it. Talent might open a door, but consistency keeps you in the room. Everybody loves the big moments, the spotlight, the victory, the applause. But what really creates those moments are the small, unseen, repetitive actions done over and over again. Success is built in the dark when nobody is watching. It's built in those early mornings when you drag yourself out of bed, in those long nights when you keep grinding while others sleep. That's consistency. And over time, consistency builds momentum. And momentum creates breakthroughs. The problem is most people quit too early. They want results fast. They want success in a week. They want the prize without the process. But life doesn't work that way. Consistency is like planting seeds. You don't drop a seed in the ground today and expect a tree tomorrow. You got to water it every day, protect it, care for it, and wait. And if you stay consistent, one day that little seed becomes a tree that gives shade, fruit, and blessing. But you'll never see it if you give up before it grows. Talent can make people notice you for a moment, but consistency makes people respect you for a lifetime. People can admire what you're gifted at, but they trust you when they see that you're steady, reliable, dependable. That's how opportunities come. Folks want to work with someone they can count on, not someone who shows up only when it's convenient. If you want to build a business, a career, or even a relationship, Consistency is the glue that holds it all together. I can't tell you how many times in my own life I didn't feel like getting up and going to work, but I did it anyway. I didn't always feel motivated, but I stayed consistent. And that's what made the difference. There were plenty of people more talented than me. There were comedians funnier, smoother, sharper. But I outlasted them because I kept showing up. While they were waiting for the perfect moment or only performing when they felt like it, I was on that grind night after night. And eventually, consistency put me in places where talent alone could never take me. Consistency is powerful because it compounds. Every small effort you make adds up. A workout today doesn't change your body, but a workout every day for a year transforms your health. Saving a little money today won't make you rich, but saving consistently will create wealth. Reading one page today won't change your mind, but reading every day will fill you with knowledge. Success is never about what you do once in a while. It's about what you do repeatedly, faithfully, consistently. So stop waiting for motivation to carry you. Motivation is good, but it's temporary. It fades. Consistency is a commitment. It says, I will show up no matter what. I will put in the work whether I feel like it or not. And that's the mindset that turns ordinary people into extraordinary successes. So remember this, ladies and gentlemen. Talent can impress people for a moment, but consistency earns results for a lifetime. If you keep showing up, keep grinding, keep doing the work, even when it's hard, even when it's boring, even when nobody is clapping, your consistency will outshine talent every single time. Ladies and gentlemen, let me share something with you that too many people forget when they're on the journey to success. Gratitude is what keeps you grounded while you're growing. See, growth can be exciting. Growth can bring you new opportunities, more money, more recognition, more responsibility. But without gratitude, growth can also make you arrogant, ungrateful, and blind to the blessings you already have. Gratitude is the anchor that keeps you humble no matter how high you rise. It reminds you of where you came from, and it keeps your spirit connected to the things that truly matter. When you practice gratitude, you stop focusing on what you don't have and start appreciating what you do. And let me tell you something. The more grateful you are, the more blessings you attract. That's not just some nice phrase. That's the truth. When God sees you being thankful for the little things, He knows you can be trusted with bigger things. But when you complain, when you focus only on what's missing, when you act like nothing is ever enough, you block yourself from receiving more. Gratitude is the key that opens the door to increase. I know how easy it is to get caught up in the grind, always chasing the next goal, the next level, the next achievement. And there's nothing wrong with ambition. You should want to grow. But if you never pause to say, thank you, Lord, for how far I've come, then you're missing the point. Gratitude keeps your heart in the right place. It reminds you that every step forward wasn't just your doing. It was grace, it was favor, it was blessings placed in your path. And when you understand that, you don't take success for granted. Gratitude also changes how you handle setbacks. Because when life knocks you down, if you can still find something to be thankful for, you won't stay down long. You'll say, I may have lost this opportunity, but thank God I still have my health, I still have my family, I still have another day to fight. That kind of gratitude keeps you resilient. It keeps you from falling into bitterness or despair. Gratitude gives you perspective. It reminds you that even in the storm, there's something worth holding on to. I'll be honest, gratitude has saved me many times in my own life. When I was broke, sleeping in my car, unsure if I was going to make it, gratitude kept me going. I could have sat there complaining about my situation, but instead I thank God for giving me another chance, for giving me breath in my body, for giving me a gift I could use to change my life. That gratitude gave me the strength to keep pushing. And even now, with all the success I've had, gratitude is what keeps me grounded. because I know it could all be gone tomorrow, and the only reason I have any of it is because I was blessed. The truth is, gratitude is not just words, it's a way of living. It's choosing to appreciate the people in your life, not just use them. It's valuing the opportunities you're given, not acting like you're entitled to them. It's waking up every day and saying, I may not have everything I want, but I'm grateful for everything I've got. And the more you live that way, the more peace, joy, and fulfillment you experience. Because gratitude shifts your focus from what's missing to what's already here. So, ladies and gentlemen, never forget this. Gratitude is the balance to ambition. Growth will take you higher, but gratitude will keep you steady. You can chase your dreams, you can reach for more, but don't ever stop being thankful for where you are right now. Because gratitude is the foundation that keeps you grounded while you're growing. And without it, success will never feel like enough. Ladies and gentlemen, let me make this clear. Without faith, you won't make it. Faith is the engine that pushes you forward when the road gets tough. Life will hit you harder than you ever expected, and there will be moments when everything in you wants to quit. You'll face obstacles that feel too big, setbacks that feel too painful, and delays that seem too long. In those moments, talent won't be enough, discipline won't be enough, even hard work won't be enough. What will carry you through is faith. Faith in yourself, faith in your purpose, and faith in God. See, faith is not about having everything figured out. Faith is believing even when you don't see the whole picture. It's trusting that if you take one step, the next step will reveal itself. It's knowing deep down that the struggle you're facing today is not the end of your story. Faith whispers to you in the dark, keep going because light is on the way. And without that voice, it's too easy to give up when things don't happen as fast as you want. Faith is what gives you courage when fear tells you to stop. Fear says, what if you fail? Faith answers, but what if you succeed? Fear says you don't have enough. Faith says use what you've got and more will come. Fear says it's impossible. Faith says with God, all things are possible. That's why faith is so powerful. It shifts your focus from what's against you to the power that's within you. I can tell you from my own life, faith has been the fuel that kept me going when nothing else made sense. There were times I was broke, times I was rejected, times I felt completely lost. If I had looked only at my circumstances, I would have given up a long time ago. But faith told me my situation was temporary. Faith told me that the dream God put in my heart was there for a reason. Faith told me that if I kept pushing, kept believing, kept showing up, eventually the breakthrough would come. And it did. Not because I had all the answers, but because I refused to let go of faith. Now understand this. Faith doesn't mean the road will be easy. In fact, sometimes faith will lead you right into challenges that test you. But those challenges are not there to destroy you, they're there to develop you. Faith doesn't eliminate the storms, but it gives you the strength to stand in the middle of them. Faith doesn't always change your situation right away, but it changes you, and when you change, your situation eventually follows. Faith is also about patience. We live in a world that wants everything instantly, but faith says, wait, trust the process. Sometimes God delays your blessing, not to deny you, but to prepare you. And if you have faith, you'll keep walking even when the finish line isn't in sight. You'll keep sowing seeds even when the harvest hasn't come. You'll keep knocking even when the door hasn't opened. That's what separates those who give up from those who receive the reward. And don't think faith is only about the big moments. Faith is in the small, daily decisions too. It's having the courage to apply for that job, even though you've been rejected before. It's starting a business, even though you don't have every detail worked out. It's trusting that your efforts will pay off, even when you can't see the results yet. Faith is not passive, it's active. It's believing and moving forward at the same time. So, ladies and gentlemen, never underestimate the power of faith. It is the engine that keeps you moving when the road gets rough, when the nights get long, when the burden feels too heavy. Faith reminds you that what looks impossible today will one day be your testimony tomorrow. And if you hold on to it, if you keep feeding it, if you refuse to let it go, faith will carry you to places you never imagined you could reach.